Hello. Hello. It's totally off. Hello. No. 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 There it is. Hello. Uh, they're not seeing me over on. Hello. 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 Hi. How's it going? Can you see me? It's a little bit zoomed in. I don't know. There we go. Just, son of a. Okay. Relax state. There. Hello, Sarah. Let's see. Let me, your video. Nope. Okay. We're just. Testing. Okay. Okay. You can hear me over on you. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? It says you can hear me now. Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello, hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, people can hear me now. Congratulations. I did the basic job of people hearing my voice. Yay! Yay! I'm basically competent. Yay! Do I have desktop audio on this? Because I meant to. Yeah. Okay. Hi. Hope everybody's doing well. Does that sound a lot better? I think it does. So we're doing some writing today, and I'm apparently heavily nose breathing, and every time I listen to myself talk, it gets in my head. Hey, how's it going? Suddenly I'm like, is that the sound of my voice? And apparently I was muted the whole time beforehand. Streaming is hard. How is everybody doing? Good, I hope. Good. Okay, so basic knowledge about me, if you're new, I don't know. I'm in a writing class right now, and I have a short story due next week, which, you know, that's cool. It does mean that I have to finish something, and I have a lot of unfinished stories. Okay, so that's what we're gonna have to look at. I wrote this morning, which I'm mostly proud of. I hate my computer is tempestuous and has minds of its own. Oh, 824. That's not a bad little. Robin, you still here? Okay. We lost Robin, everybody. Oh, come on. There it is. Hello, Lynn! How's it going, Lynn? Good to see you. Hi! Hi! How's it going? Good to see you. What? No. What? Yes, I did. I did get a haircut, in fact. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I've been needing one. I was looking a little mountain man-y, I have to say. Also, I got... Hello, the terrible novelist. Hello! Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. I need a better way to monitor chat. Guess we can just do this. Yeah. Going old school, the way I used to monitor my chat, just on my phone. Well, I'm happy to see you stop by, my friend. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Partly I did it because I had to get my passport photo taken, which is sort of a boring story, but that's partly why I did it. Can't have all crazy hair, crazy mad person hair when you are getting officially on the government's radar, especially a new government's radar. Yeah. No. What this? Maybe, I don't know. I'm just making sure to secure my Canadian citizenship officially. I've technically always had it, but I needed to fill out I need to get a certificate for it to be official. I don't know. Just wanted to make sure I secured it. No political reasons whatsoever why I would maybe want to secure a passport to another country. None whatsoever. Certainly don't have a hot take about that. Anyways. Yeah. Just in case. Yeah. Well, I mean, partly, okay, we want to be real. We want to be real and talk about real. If I want to make a movie as a Canadian citizen, I could try and apply for, I could apply for the Canadian film. Canada gives you tax breaks and will even help pay for movies if you make it in Canada and use Canadian citizens. So as a Canadian citizen, I would have rights to that. And also, my content would theoretically count as CanCon, which means that they would be incentivized to play it. Yeah. Everybody's favorite thing is politics. We all like talking about politics all the time. Well, this is about 14 pages. Hi, Banana. Yeah. I need Grammarly for the grammar part, but they're all suggesting writing things. Usually makes it a lot more boring. Anyways. Theoretically, I could. Probably couldn't get him. But theoretically, I could. I could get... I can finally convince Justin Bieber to make his film debut. Yeah. I still can't kill that term. No matter how much I try, I can never kill the term pantsing. I hate that term so much. I think it sounds so dumb, and I've hated it forever. Is that everybody's favorite? Is that everybody's favorite term? No, Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was in Zoolander 2. He'll do my movie though. Anyways. Yes, I know what it means. Terrible. I just don't like the term. I prefer discovery writer or basher. There's anything other than pantser. Pantser sounds so dumb. This has turned into a little bit of a... Oh my goodness, Maxer! Congratulations! Okay. Everybody, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. The Maxer 67. Happy birthday to... Happy birthday to you. I can't sing high notes. Why do I try? Happy birthday, though. This has turned into this story has turned into a little bit of a format nightmare. I have to admit. Oh, okay. Let's see. Because I'm kind of pantsing. So terrible. What terrible banana? What have you been doing for pantsing November? Oh my goodness, Robert. Robert, thank you. How's it going, Robbie? Nevermore. How good and wonderful it is to see you on this fine day. Oh boy. Yeah, we're all cool. Oh boy. What have you all been working? Tell me a little bit about yourself, guys. What are you all working on? Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm just losing my place a little bit on all this. Oh boy. Okay. I knew you'd like that show. I knew you'd like that show. The second I watched it... Well, Robert, thank you. The second I watched it, I was like, Lynn is going to love this show. I was so... Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I kind of... I lost my place on this again. This story I'm working... Oh, did you like it? Yes, never! Haha! Two people on the haunted hotel side. I watched it the day it came out. I liked it a lot. I usually like I always feel out of place, but I was like, nope. This one seems funny to me. I watched it and yeah, it's in our heart, gone from this world, but not gone from our hearts. Yeah, I mean, mother effer. I hit my I just hit my thing. Okay. I gotta. I'm always terrible with chapters. Chapters always screw me up. Okay, let's see. Okay. Next, I gotta get you guys onto the Chair Company. Have you guys seen the Chair Company yet? Nope. Yeah. I think it's got a good setup. Surprisingly good little character arc for Abaddon, who is like their most absurd character, but surprisingly had a good little character arc. Okay. Yeah. I ended up really liking that show. I was, okay. Okay. Let's go here. Oop. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got where I'm at. Yes. Really? Oh. I liked the writing. Okay. Yes. Okay, I've got it organized better now. I've got it organized better now. Okay. This story has been giving me just a little bit of headaches. Hello, Gregory. How's it going? Good to see you. Welcome. No, Bob's Burgers has quite good writing, yeah. Okay. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear it. Okay. We're getting a lot of cool new people in here. Okay. This year actually has been pretty decent, I think, for TV shows. Honestly, we've gotten a lot of half-decent ones coming out. There's stuff I haven't seen yet, but well, thank you. Yes, over on the YouTubes mostly, but it's all the cool. Everybody is cool here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Greg. What do you do? Are you a writer? I assume you are. If not, you're just a cool person. Okay, sorry. This story has been giving me some hiccups. I kind of changed halfway through what the structure of this is going to be, and it's been a little bit hard to keep track of because it was about a single protagonist, and now it's about two alternating protagonists experiencing dual stories that they're just about to meet in the middle. And it means that there's kind of two plot lines going on, and It's been very there's a lot. It's been a lot. It's I've kind of yeah, it's a whole thing. I got okay. There we go. Okay, let's see how many words is this so far. And thank you for the compliment on the haircut. I appreciate that. Ah, 6,200. Okay. Well, part of the problem is, so we've got an issue now. It's one of the storylines isn't at the modern day yet, and the other one is. I have an issue now where I'm going to have, because the central twist in one of the characters' storyline is just about to happen, and the central twist in another hasn't yet. It's okay. So there's two. It's about two characters. It's about Beck and Jonah. And Jonah we've been following in the modern day, and Beck we've been learning about kind of through her whole life. And we haven't got to the point yet where she meets Jonah, but we've gotten to the point now where Jonah meets Beck. So, it's a little bit of a, so the question is, do I need to put in another thing? It's been alternating. Do I need to put in another thing, put a little bit of filler into Jonah's story, which doesn't seem like the best idea in my head, so that the timeline isn't so wacky? Or do I just take it as read that the audience can figure out that we're still working through Beck's storyline as Beck and Jonah now meet in the present day? And that's a little bit my the conundrum I'm facing right now, because it turns out Beck has had a lot more of plot I needed to get through than Jonah did, because there's a whole big thing going on with there's a whole I'm legitimately just asking people. I don't know. This is the writer's block a little bit I've had with this story. Is, do I do that? Because it turned out that Beck had a lot more of a storyline going on. Or something, because they need to meet, and then it's kind of a dual storyline. Because the big twist with Beck's story, I haven't even got to the big twist in Beck's story yet about the nature of the thing of her life. What do you guys think? And what are you guys working on these days? Sorry, I'm talking about myself too much. The Human Corporation. Okay. Tell me about your persona. Happy daylight savings time. I want to hear about it. Oh no! It screwed it all up. Daylight savings time. I don't acknowledge that. No, but you can hang out. Hi, Joe Show. What have you been? I like, for some, I don't know. This might be just me, and maybe everybody is secretly upset about this, but I've never seen what the big deal with daylight savings time is. I don't even, unless somebody pointed it out. Okay. Yeah, people always get so upset about it. I'm like, I guess, I don't know. Okay. No. I mean, people who would give it, yeah, no. Sorry. Like, okay. Yeah, I know, it's so significant, but it's like, to me, it's like, oh, we have to turn our clocks back. I don't notice that. All my clocks are digital now. They just turn it back automatically. Do you have any art of this little guy? Have you ever? There's a YouTube channel I've recently started watching a lot of. I don't know. You probably follow this person, Lynn, but I'll recommend them anyways. They're called Deadly Comics. Have you ever seen the channel? I'm gonna sneeze. 1 second. I sneezed. Okay. They're called Deadly Comics. I'm gonna sneeze again. I sneezed again. Okay. They're called Deadly Comics. Have you ever seen them? Yeah. Look them up. I think you'll really like them. I've been watching their animated shorts that they made. I think they're really clever art. So, Never, terrible. What have you been working on? What's the short you've been working on, Never? One of these days, I'm going to talk. Yeah, the female lead in your story turns out, yeah, that's kind of important. Yeah, that turns out it's pretty important. I would agree. It's important to know what the female lead in your story wants. I've actually been really struggling that on another project. Oh. On another project. So I'm working on this series. You read the first short story in it, and the premise is it's going to switch between. It's about a guy and a girl, and it's going to switch between the two of them, who the main character is. And right now we're on the guy's story, and the girl has been sort of reduced to like just a supporting character, and I'm really disliking that. I'm really disliking that I've reduced her to like a supporting character who's just there to support him. Like, she has her own like story going on and her own motivations, but it's like it's his story, which, you know, not every character needs to be like the center of the story, but I'm really frustrated with myself that I've kind of reduced her to kind of just a supporting character. So I'm very frustrated at that. Yeah, they do.
Tell me, is this your ghost story? How is your game going, by the way, Lynn? I know you're taking a break from it. What have you been working on these days? Lynn, if you haven't seen, was working on a very cool ghost game starring Danny DeVito. And, yeah. Yes. Oh, I want to see. Yeah. I love your art, Lynn. I don't know if I've told you that, but I've always really liked your art. But characters always have something they want to do in life. Every character needs some motivation. Danny Dorito. What's this one? It's fine. Hey, we've all been through college. That's true of me too. Unfortunately, nobody tells you. This always sucks because nobody tells kids this, that the first 2 years of college are essentially just high school point two. Like nobody ever brings that up. That it's essentially just high school point two. Your first 2 years of college, essentially. Yeah. That's always such a heartbreak to see college kids yeah, I get to study what? No, you don't. You're pretty much going to be doing high school still do. Yeah, the last 2 years are where you really the last 2 years of college are the fun part, where you get to focus on the stuff you actually want to learn. Yeah. I like how basically college is no, high school didn't teach you crap. You actually have to learn what it is. So much of high school is about prepping you for college and how college works. And then it's well, once you get to college, it's yeah, well, the high school actually didn't teach you all the stuff you needed to know, so we're gonna have to actually sit there and teach you high school level math and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, tell me about it. Is it the one related to the ghost thing? Ugh. Do I know this one? Have you mentioned this one? I'm gonna repeat. So what are we finding out about Annie and Paul's motivations? What are we finding out about them? Terrible. Oh, I don't know if I've heard this one. Yeah. So, you know what? Yes, I remember this week. I think I even read it a little bit. Took me a second. I even read it. I believe I read a little bit of it even. Okay, that works. Okay. Tell me how you've developed it a little bit. Okay. Does she like deny that that's the reason she's doing it? I mean, I believe that's where like neurosis comes. That's where like my neurosis is come from. Is like I constantly am analyzing myself. Is like I'm constantly obsessively analyzing myself. I don't know, terrible. I think a lot more people analyze themselves than you probably get credit for. Yeah. Yeah. It's very, Carol, I have to say that's very Midwestern of you. Like, to not. That sounds very Midwestern of you. Yeah. Well, okay, I like that. And now we've hit the little problem with like the female. No, but it's incredibly Midwestern to say, well, I don't. People don't think about. Yeah. That's why I said it. Okay. So, she has all the backstory, and he has, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's a very Midwestern thing to say. Like, well, no, people don't analyze themselves like that. Yeah, like with romance, I've noticed it's hard with romance. Not at all. So what? Okay. So the story started out kind of. Okay, if I could explain the story a little bit. Initially, it was about a guy named Jonah Baxter, who is a starship captain. I'm telling you the story now because it's mostly done. I have it mostly done, so I can start talking. Who is a starship captain in the future. But starship captaining isn't like a thing that's as exciting as it should be, being as mostly the job is the AI does almost all of it, and all but one human has been all the humans have been made redundant. And the only reason Jonah is technically the captain is because they just need a person there in case the AI screws up. They need just one person there. So the story is that Jonah just spends their days or weeks, months, just kind of cooped up going a little mad, trying to deal with the loneliness of being a starship captain. Anyways. And the plot culminates in him meeting an escaped space princess and him accidentally getting involved in a real deal space thing, like a space opera storyline. and him trying to like actually figure out how to actually do this now that he's somehow found himself in a genre. But then I was like, okay, not bad, a little story. But like, what's the Space Princess's deal? What's like her storyline? So, and then I came up with this whole elaborate storyline of like what it exactly means to be a space princess in this future, which is, and her story. Anyway, I was like, okay, and it became like so long an exposition of like, okay, this is who she is, these are her motives, this is what she's doing. And I had to introduce so much backstory, and I'm like, this is just a whole short story on its own. So I tried to like, so I had this idea, okay, what if we have dueling narratives? We learn her backstory and we learn his backstory, and we kind of meet in the middle, and then the story can continue from there. Turns out she had a lot more backstory than him. And the backstory is basically empires in space are just elaborate multi-level marketing schemes, is one of the twists. Anyways, like, yeah. Anyway, so that's what I'm dealing with at the moment. This was supposed to be the shorter one too. Okay. Anyways. No, actually, my version was better. Nothing makes me happier when I go like, you know what, my version was better than Grammarly suggested. How dare you? Dare you? Those bastards. Those bastards. It is. Food is down, but prices are up. It really is. And we're all getting replaced by AI. Yeah, I don't know, Okay, think about this. Like, how is the party chip bag of chips now the same? That contains the same amount of chips as the. No, yeah. Well, that's kind of yeah. Well, I'll think of something. Don't worry. I'm just trying to get this all formatted correctly. Don't worry. I'm just. I thought this would be the easier story to do. I had another one I was working on, and it proved a bit too complicated. Well, Lynn has experienced now my storytelling firsthand, and knows I have a tendency to overcomplicate things. We should totally do sad parties. You know what the problem with parties are? You're supposed to be happy while doing them. There should be like sadness parties. Where parties are all about being sad. We're sad and we're out of. We're not very happy and we're sad. I don't know if you know this, but I actually exactly. How do I take away context? Oh no. No, that's the correct, yeah. I guess I'm basically pitching a goth party, but I don't know. Rattle, rattle. No, I wanted to change that. I don't know. A depression celebration. That's a great name. A depression celebration. A depression session. It's a depression. We're having a local depression session. How was you guys' Halloween? Did you guys have fun? Did you party? Yeah. What type of book is Dracula again? It's How was that, Lynn? How was that? Well, no, I was there too in a South Stream. Dracula, the type of book Dracula. I always forget the name but it's an interesting. There's not horror. There's a very specific name for the type of book Dracula is. I need to just remember. It's How was that? How was the Halloween party? Did you go as anything? Yeah. What type of book is Dracula? Oh, frick. I always forget how to say it. Is it? Yeah, epistolary novel. That's what it is. Epistolary novel? No. So, this was the word I was looking for. It's epistolary novel. I'm saying it wrong, and it's driving me up a wall because I'm saying it like anyways. Tell me, did you dress up? Did you have fun? So, an epistolary novel is it's a novel made up of in-universe fake documents. So, usually it's like fake letters, diary entries, or newspaper. Anyways, but it's like instead of like written from an omnipresent narrator, it's supposed to be from different sources that like make up a story. Yeah, so you can have like ads or stuff like that. Dracula is that. That is, you know what? That's good enough. That's awesome. Shows you who the real ones are, I think, Lynn. I think it shows you who the real ones are. Yeah, so. I'm thinking, so basically this thing I'm working on has kind of evolved into one of these just by sheer accident. So a part of me was thinking, like, to solve this little problem, I could play into this a little bit more of doing it. Nice. Is awesome. There's a really cool if you're interested in like interesting alternate takes on vampire media or something, I don't know. There's a really interesting little book, novella called Some of My Blood. It's by Theodore Sturgeon, and it is about it is a very unique take on the vampire genre. Have you guys ever read Kurt Vonnegut? Lynn, Terrible, any of the quiet people in the chat? Never? Do you know who Kurt Vonnegut is? Lynn, I love What We Do in the Shadows. That's one of my favorites. Yes, I quite enjoyed that. Well, that's one of the best. Yeah. Usually college. I will say this. Kurt Vonnegut is definitely one of those guys you first read in college, usually. I've been slowly making my way through his, his oeuvre. Did you like Slaughterhouse-Five? Yeah. Anyways, so he has a No! What? No. What? Well, where did you meet him? You didn't break into his house, Lynn, did you? A lot of his stuff is really good. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Did he like it? I believe Del Toro was at one point thinking of adapting that. That's awesome. Sorry. I just saw the this headline and I was very excited by it. Tron Ares still hasn't passed the biggest. Did I ever mention how much I hate Jared Leto as a dude? Oh, did you guys watch that's so awesome. Did you guys watch the World Series last night? It's okay if you did. It was a fairly intense game. Maybe the most intense baseball game I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, so Gil del Toro is... I thought was considering adapting it. Slaughterhouse 5, Guillermo del Toro. Oh, right. Oh, and Charlie Kaufman. Jaden! Oh, and Charlie Kaufman was gonna... Why must they... Why must the world promise me a good time and disappoint me? Hey, Jaden, how's it going today? Jaden! J to the D to the Y to the E to the N. If you've never read Slaughterhouse 5, it's in many ways Vonnegut anyways, it's about World War II and post-traumatic stress disorder and his experiences in maybe one of the single most bloody battles in the history of the war. Anyways. And how it permanently affected him. And also Aliens, it's very good. What's the day looking like today, Jaden? Are you conquering the world? Excited for Lex Luthor to use his suit to fight Brainiac. I always like. Okay, so this is always it's rough. This is always a thing in articles. I just very briefly want to talk about articles and how funny they are at times. Articles always have to like give a description of somebody at one point down halfway through like. So this was the pitcher at the World Series. Pitched an amazing game. Maybe one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Anyways, the right-hander had to give. It's one of those weird things where it's like you have to mention him again, but you want to give him an epitaph. So it's like right-hander is the epitaph you give him. The pitch, you could have called him the pitcher. I don't know anything, but it's always the right-hander, which is this is the right-hander. I always find it so weird. They always call them something. Could have just said he, but you can't give boring copy. Well, you can often, and often copy is very boring these days because it's like, it might even be AI generated. Who knows? But it's like, I don't know. I always just find that funny. It's the one point where it's like, no, I'm gonna really do my own stuff. Anyways. I don't think this is not the title. I don't know. Well, thank you for the likes, people. Okay, terrible. Good to see you. Hope you have a good time. I have a tendency to just call sci-fi stories Spaces to Place. Ooh, very fun. Very, very, very fun. Let's see. I will. Yeah. It's because it's named after a jazz album. Kyle! How's it going? And movie. And I said, hello back! Right on, right on. We're doing some writing. Generally chitting and chatting. Hanging out down the street. Doing the same old things we did last week. Not a thing to do but talk to you. Because it's all right. It's all right. Hello! Tell me a little bit about yourself, Kyle. Are you a writer? Just a general cool person? Okay. Kyle was in our lives so briefly, yet warmed it so immensely. Goodbye, Kyle. Goodbye, Kyle. I don't know what I'm singing. Anyway, it's the whole thing. It's Afrofuturism. It's Sun Ra and his orchestra. It's a very cool jazz ensemble thing. It's a space jazz sort of thing. If you're interested in kind of acid jazz, I think that it qualifies as acid jazz. If you're kind of interested in like kind of trippy jazz, Sun Ra is an interesting guy to look into. Big star. God, I wish I could play like... Oh, shut up, Kenny Chesney. Shut up, Kenny Chesney. How dare you? This is one of these like bands that are so important. Oh shoot, are they really reunited? I thought they are, of course, nowhere close to me. Great. They're close to Terrible. Anyways, I wish I could. I used to play copyrighted music on here all the time, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just cut it out later. But I get so anxious about that now. I get so anxious about that now, and it's always such a bummer because it's like, I think I'm playing some music right now, and it's just like, who cares about this music I'm playing? I don't even listen to it. Like, this is the music I'm playing. 9 times out of 10, it's probably like AI generated music to begin with. I don't know. You know, it's just, you know, these streams, they're a little bit without something that... Ha, Mr. Breadman! How's it going on this fine and lovely day? Oh, shit! No, don't worry about that. Nightbot. You didn't even get to it. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Thank you, Nightbot, for scaring away. I'm so irritated. No, it's Nightbot. It's Nightbot. Nightbot. I have to reset Nightbot because it's spam. It gets you for spamming symbols. Yeah, don't worry about that. I'm sorry. That's automatic. It's been hitting everybody. It's over dramatic, and it's been driving me up a wall. Sorry about that. Ugh. You're okay, Brett. You're okay. You're cool. Don't worry. I'm more frustrated. I'm more frustrated at the stupid bot than anything. How's it going? You know, I got it so that I wouldn't have to deal with like weirdo trolls, and it has successfully managed to not get the weirdo trolls, but block all my friends, time out all my friends. So don't even worry about it, man. Sorry. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing fantastic. You think Jaden is writing an epic comment or fell asleep? It's one of the two. I was working on something superhero related recently. I have an idea for a superhero story. I don't know. My problem is I'm never focused when I write. Like, I've written like, I'm supposed to be writing one short story today. I've worked on like 5 different projects today, which is not the worst thing in the world, I guess, but. I was gonna try and draw today, but it's like, okay. Where is it? Where are we? Where is it? Okay. Hey, Lynn. I have 2 bits of news. One, I saw a book talk recommendation recently, and honestly, I ended up thinking it sounded kind of fun. So I might actually read a book talk book, which I'm very nervous about. But I saw it, and I'm like, oh, actually, no, that looks like kind of a cute story. And we'll see. We'll see if I like it. But have you been following the Audra Winter situation? Maybe it's just me, but yeah. But I saw a recommendation, and I was like, oh, this actually might be a fun book. So I will. Yeah. It's not. There's a lot of stuff I dislike about what Book Talk finds appealing, apparently. But we'll see. We'll see what I think. 1 second. Nope. That's one. Okay, so Audra Winter wrote The Age of Scorpius, big viral hit on TikTok. And it comes out, and revelation is people don't like it. People don't like it too much, apparently. Apparently it's quite badly written. Yeah. Well, thanks to the lovely thanks to I'm going to shout out Emmy because she's the one who found this for me. I now have an actual copy of it, of the original first edition. Oh no. I've been looking it over, like, you know, there is definitely something of, yes. I don't know. Yes. I have been reading it on and off for a little bit. Not... I mean, okay. I need to make something clear. At the end of the day, it's... no crime has been committed. It's not a particular crime to write something bad. It happens every day. Somebody writes a bad book. And obviously you could accuse me of writing bad books. Second, you know, there is something of a, you know, sort of Damocles thing. If you kind of look at... Yeah, no, never. Yeah, never. There is sort of Damocles thing. If you kind of mockingly look at a book, it's like, well, you know, then it's fair game for people to do that to you. And three, I'm sure this is my all-time nightmare to go through what she did, and they did what they did, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. 3, do you want to look it over a little bit? You want to look it over just a tiny bit? It is not great. This edition particularly isn't great. I kind of want to... I was thinking of doing maybe an editing stream of it one of these days, but I don't consider myself the greatest editor. Okay. You want to read a little bit of it? Okay. Okay. Should we start with the intro? Because the intro it has its... Okay. Okay. Forgive... We blurred the lines between humans and machines, and it burned the earth alive. It started with the angry oceans and the burning forests. Then came the earthquake, eruptions, and extinctions. All we knew, we lost in the destruction. But all we knew was formed on the central continent. Humanity were known for surviving, and survive we did. Clusters of humans from all corners of the world prevailed through the disasters, and with the fall of each homeland, we sought anew. The central continent welcomed us. We deemed... Oh my god. I don't like prologues in fantasy stories generally. We deemed it the guardian land of humanity. Guardian. In our darkest hours, the cosmos remained unchained. The sun and the moon continued their chase through the sky, and the stars told of those before us. We couldn't understand our neighbor's language. We spoke the universal language of the stars. We found ourselves intricately woven together by the fates we couldn't see, like the invisible lines connecting the constellations. We paid our respects, we asked what they wished us to do, and they responded. Do not create machines when the stars have always been within. As we shared the stories of the stars, the cosmos connected energy to magic and magic to body. It began with the three archetypes, arc powers of the sun, the moon, and the stars. Stars, Liberian healing, spirit walking, Cancer. So, yeah. This is a lot. This is a lot. We genetically transferred from one. I will say, okay, so one of my kind of criticisms of this book is I actually kind of think this is a really dumb magic system. Like, it gets really bizarre really quickly because it's like it doesn't really. Anyways, the arc powers attached to the date of birth, we genetically transferred from one generation to the next, evolving into numerous magic systems throughout all 12 signs. Magic became rampant as society rebuilt and progressed alongside and respected the sacred lands of the ecosystems of Guardian. We advanced through the Shining Skills story from the stars. We divided the function as one society, conviction for the leadership, and fire and law, Scorpio, Aries. Strategy for knowledge and protection, mechanic for water, healing, travel, and magic. Welcome to the world of Guardian. Oh my god. Okay, so okay, one of the funniest things is this whole line doesn't come back. This always throws people off because it implies, I think what it implies, I think she means this. There's a whole like naturism thing in this, and she defines herself as a naturist. We blurred the lines between humans, machines, and it burned the earth alive. And I don't think this implies. Everybody reads this as like cyborgs, like people became cyborgs. And the thing is that never comes up again. And I realize I think what she kind of means is like. It's more we gave up. I think she's trying to say like we gave up humanity for a machine, if that makes sense. Like we anyways. Okay. Chapter 1. Okay. Someone had rewritten. I won't read forever, but someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I called home. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as eternally uninhabitable, there were hundreds of. Okay. Yes, Wally told it better. Yeah, basically the opening of Wally. Okay. I don't know if you can tell. There's actually kind of a weird issue in the first thing. Let's go through this first page, and then I'll explain some of the issues I found with this. And you may disagree with me, but I'll explain what I think could be done better. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I called home. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as eternally uninhabitable, there were hundreds of wartime artifacts scattered amongst the forest grounds. The records had been altered to hide the truth of the Guardians' last war, a truth that allowed the woods to protect those mysteriously meant to survive beyond its boundaries. Okay. That's a lot, really. I don't know. That's a lot, really, to dump on people right as they're approaching. In like your first paragraph, I lingered on the. Okay, so like if I could, you know what? Let's move this to its own document so I can mess with it a little bit. One thing I always find with authors is let's. Okay. I find with people. Let's just look at page 1. I don't know. Is this fun? I was looking at this. Me and a buddy were looking at this a few nights ago, and I had a lot of fun doing that. But okay, I need to fix this because this is bugging me a little bit. Because I've read this section like a few times at this moment, and this bugs me so much. Okay, this is just page 1. Okay. So, this might not necessarily be the best, but I'll explain my sort of reasoning from this. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I called home. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as internally uninhabitable, there were hundreds of wartime artifacts scattered across the forest grounds. The records had been altered to hide the truth of Guardian's last war, a truth that allowed the woods to protect those who mysteriously meant to survive beyond its boundaries. Okay, so this is just a very badly written paragraph. We have like 3 ideas, I think. Here's the thing. I lingered on the edge of the furthest northern reach of Conviction Woods. Before me stood a crumb. I think here's the thing. Whenever I look at this, I always think this would be the better opening paragraph if we flipped it a little bit. For some reason, this is a trend I noticed with me and other writers. Is the second paragraph is almost uniformly the better paragraph to start your story with, if that makes sense. I lingered on the edge of the farthest northern. It's not great. We'll get to that. I lingered on the edge of the farthest northern reach of Conviction Woods. Before me stood a crumbled and dilapidated stone arch. Old runic entrenched across its surface, worn away by the structure returning to the earth. A few fallen stones lay scattered across the surrounding ground, freezing into the dirt as ancient remnants conjoined with the snow and the snow. Beyond the arch's gripping mass lay Asura's base history. And then doesn't that sound, that's a better opening paragraph. It centers the character and makes it a little bit more personal. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods. I still think this is such a badly written paragraph. Actually, it's actually really badly written. It does pretty much, in my opinion, everything wrong a paragraph does. So someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I called home. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods. Okay. Okay. Okay, so part of the problem is I don't think Conviction Woods is a good name for something. This is just a personal thing, but I think it's actually quite a boring name. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Len? What do you think? Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I called home. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as eternally uninhabitable. Okay, this is just a terrible sentence. Look at this. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I called home. Okay, good. Not great. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as eternally uninhabitable, there were hundreds of wartime artifacts. Okay, so what do these two thoughts? What do they relate with each other? What do they relate with each other? Is my point. How exactly do they relate with each other? These seem like two separate ideas. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as eternally uninhabitable, there were hundreds of wartime artifacts scattered across I guess you could argue, like, maybe she's trying to say, like, there was post-war or pre-war or... Okay, so this is a common problem writers do, especially, like, writers on the internet. Okay. Conviction Woods is a terrible name. If I was editing this, I would be like, no, you got to change that. That's so boring. The World of Guardian is a boring name. The World of Guardian is a very boring name, also. By the way, if I could point that out, that means nothing. That means nothing, really. Okay. Asturias. So, we can see two pretty big problems, at least to me, with all of this. Is she has Thesaurus syndrome, and she world builder's disease, at least in my opinion. Thesaurus syndrome. Yeah, exactly. Well, Conviction Woods is so boring. I don't have a good idea for like a better woods, but if it's supposed to be like a dark and scary wood, yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That's perfectly fine in first draft when you're in your first draft. It's more important just to get the idea done, but this is clearly a first draft. Well, it's not, because if you follow the story, what you find out is she has a kind of a unique way of editing things, which is she rewrites completely over and over again. Have you been okay, so part of what she does is instead of just sitting there and editing her draft, she'll just rewrite the entire book over, and she claims she's rewritten it about 12 times. Which some people do that occasionally, but I believe the author behind the Joy Luck Club is somebody who does that, if I remember correctly. But okay, so but this is okay. So okay, what? Okay, let me bring this back to the normal. So what she does is she introduces about 6 or 7 concepts immediately, kind of all together at once. And this is not what you do. Also, despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as entirely uninhabitable. See, okay. These two opening lines always bug me here. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I call home. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as entirely uninhabitable, there were hundreds of wartime artifacts. Okay, so I kind of think this is a screw up. And what she actually meant to do was this. It's not necessarily great writing, but I think these two ideas connect to me a little bit better than this idea. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I called home, despite all the texts describing Conviction Woods as entirely uninhabitable. It's not great. But you notice how these two ideas connect better? At least in my opinion. Because what she's trying to say is like Conviction Woods is like this terrible place that all the texts say is horrible and awful, but she lives in it. Even though everything is right. Is that like, am I being wrong? That feels like that connects a little bit better. And then like this thing bugs me. There were hundreds of wartime artifacts scattered across the forest grounds. That idea still kind of comes out of nowhere. I don't know what that means, by the way. Hey! Sorry. Hey, Spam. Sorry, we're just looking at stuff. Why are you not popping up in either of the spots? we were just looking at the world of Guardian. Why are you not popping up? I don't understand. Let me see. Weird. Anyways, very weird. Anyways, okay. I don't like. I mean, this is going to lead me to maybe trying to rewrite this a little bit. I've tried this before. Okay, there are hundreds more. Okay, so, Lynn, what do you think? What do you think that means? There are hundreds of wartime artifacts scattered across amongst the forest grounds. Because to me, I'm picturing like bullet casings or like mines or something, or like if this is medieval, like arrows or something. What do you think that? What do you think that means exactly? Yeah, or something. Okay, so, and then we have the records have been altered to hide the truth of Guardian's last war. A truth that allowed the truth that allowed the woods to protect those mysteriously meant to survive beyond its bounds. So, okay, so what do you think? I don't know. I have my issues with this paragraph. What do you think? Do you have issues? Because it's like somebody, I don't know. I've looked at this one so much because it's so it starts right away not being great. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I agree with that. But let's figure how we, studying less than great writing is as important, I think, as studying great writing, because when we realize what's missing and what they're not doing correctly is where we learn what to do correctly. We can learn what to do correctly. Okay, so in my opinion, one, this is information overload. She's throwing. I'm actually not totally sure of their pronouns. Let's just go with they. They're throwing. I think too much information all at once. I usually, in my opinion, fantasy starts work better by anchoring in something people recognize. It's better to anchor it into a recognizable human emotion and then expand out from that, is usually my opinion. Because we have no real connection to Conviction Woods. We don't know why it's considered uninhabitable. We don't know what the wartime records are. We don't actually know what the war is, and if you're like me, when I tend to skip, I have a bad tendency of skipping prologues, but that's me. And we don't really have like an emotional connection to Guardian. And we don't know what the war was. We don't know how it was rewritten. We don't know what the accepted truth is. We don't know any of this. None of this feels real. You get what I mean? Like, none of this feels real. And then, if we move to the second paragraph, I lingered at the edge of the furthest northern reach of Conviction Woods. I think that's a better opening, not a great opening. I still think... Okay. Watch this. Watch my editing magic. Yeah, exactly. You need to kind of anchor them in things that the readers understand before you can totally move on. Watch this. Exactly. Well, Lord of the Rings fundamentally starts out in what... Okay, and this is another thing. This is another common thing. I do this all the time too. Before me stood a crumbled and dilapidated stone arch. Crumbled and dilapidated mean practically the same thing. Pick one. Don't do verb and then another verb, or adjective, whatever. Don't do descriptor and then another descriptor. Yeah. I mean, I do this all the time too, but I edited it out. I stood at the edge of the woods before a dilapidated stone arch. Less fancy sentence, but I think a much better sentence. Also, she uses Conviction Woods too many times. We don't need it. Okay. I hate this opening sentence. I hate it so much. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods. Yeah. 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 It's old runic etched across its surface. Don't need that. Here's the nice thing about language. You can kind of imply things. Watch. It's old Watch. The old runic worn away. The old runic was worn away by the structure returning to the earth. Was worn away. Worn away, but the old runic was worn away by time. There's probably a better way to say that, but the old no, you cut that out. You know, I saw a lot of people actually get really confused by this. The old runes. Do you know what runic is, Lynn? It's a type of writing. The Norse write in runic. But I think a lot of people were really confused by that. People got really confused by that because it's runes and then runic, which is the old root. How would you say it? The writing worn away by time. The old writing worn away by time. It's not great. Again, I'm just. Ugh. See, this is one of these things where it's like, you know, you gotta, if you're gonna shoot, but it's starting to be a little bit better. I stood at the edge of the woods before a dilapidated stone arch. I mean, do we even need edge of the woods? You could get rid of that. Okay, so let's see. A few fallen stones lay scattered across the ground, freezing into the dirt. The ancient remnants conjoined with the snow and the soil. Okay. Fallen stones lay. Okay. You don't need to explain that. Frozen. See, now I'm all insecure because usually. Okay. Ancient remains. Nope. Conjoined. Oh boy. Conjoined with this. Okay. See, this is one of her problems. A few fallen stones had. She can't not include more. Okay. Look. A few fallen. Yeah. Oh, never. Hey, how's it going? We got bored. We got bored, and we're Do you remember Audra Winter? Do you remember Audra Winter? The TikTok girl. How is it? Oh, boo. I'll give you a minute. They're in an ad break. They can't. Well, they can see you. No, they can't see you yet. What was it on? I have it set to like 30 seconds, I think. I don't know. I was talking. I brought this up recently. You know, if we, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good number. I am not super thrilled with the ads. Anyways. That Twitch plays now, and I'm trying to think of a way to maybe not do it. Anyways, hey, so never. You remember Audra Winter, the TikTok girl who wrote a book that everybody bought and then hated? Yeah, we're looking at her book. I have it. This is it right here. This is the book.
I'm doing some light editing of it. I don't know. Yeah, if you want it, I can not share it with you later. But yeah, I'm just doing some light. We're just doing some light editing of the first page. It is a lot. It is a lot. Someone had I'll read this opening paragraph again, because I really have no idea how to make this. Well, I do have an idea, because I've tried this before. I'll explain to you. Someone had rewritten the history of the woods, the cursed forest I called home. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as eternally uninhabitable, there were hundreds of wartime artifacts scattered amongst the forest's grounds. The records had been altered to hide the truth of Guardian's last war, a truth that allowed the woods to protect those mysteriously meant to survive beyond its boundaries. Because it's fun. We're goofing around. It's fun. And I've just been I've just been trying to. If I was editor, see what I would do with the edits. Don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt me, young man, with reading the forbidden secrets of the ancient ones. We're just looking at the first page. Okay. We're just doing some mild re-editing, seeing if we can kind of fix it. Abdul al-Red, document of the unknown ones. So, this first paragraph, I've been obsessed with this first paragraph every time I've read it, because it's bad and what is this? Allow. Man, making. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I did preface this with we are all vulnerable to this. Nobody is beyond this. Nobody is beyond this, and yeah, her. I would argue the biggest crime that, it isn't a crime to write a first book. It isn't a crime to write a bad book. I would argue the biggest crime is that TikTok people took this, took a first-time novelist who refused to share any of their writing on their word that the book would be really good, overhyped it to the moon, and then got disappointed when it was bad, when all the signs in the world should have been pointing out, no, this is bad. This is this probably is going to be a bad book. And inflated a random. TikTok has this thing where they'll inflate a random person's ego to such an extreme high, and then deflate, then take all the joy in the world of deflating it. And I guess, I can't sit on this high horse because we're kind of looking at this book with a critical eye. But I am of the opinion that things can be learned. Things can be learned from doing something like this. Honestly, if I was her, I would be like, you guys paid for the book. You're just going to get what you get. Sorry. Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. In some ways, the Cyber Tinkerer is almost worse. But I thought there would be some interest. Well, the Audra Winter's thing is that Audra Winter needed a good editor, a really good editor. But it wasn't the Cyber Tinkerer. Tell me about the Survival Guide to High School. The Cyber Tinkerer is in some ways a little bit cringier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of it is the I mean, you've heard her kind of weird little special way she does rewrites, right? She doesn't edit from draft. She just rewrites the draft over and over again, which is always an issue, you know? Which was a weird idea. So, yeah. Oh, where is it? Hey, Useless. We were theoretically, I should be working on my own story. But we got distracted and we were looking at the Age of Scorpius. Kind of. No, we are looking at that. We're looking at the Age of Scorpius. I have the full book. I have the full ebook right here. No, it's the Age of Aquarius. I don't know that one. The Age of we were looking a little bit at the Age of Scorpius and seeing if we could maybe try and improve it a little bit, which is on its face. I always feel bad about these sorts of things, but it's also interesting to look at. Have you heard about this particular bit of drama? Simply. That's fun. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that's kind of the thing. I heard too much about it. Yeah. Yeah, we were looking at it. Well, so here's the thing. It does make me feel bad. Because in some ways, I feel like this is more on TikTok people than on, like, her as a person. Nobody told the TikTok people. Nobody told TikTok people that they had to hype up an author like this who had shown no examples of their writing. Nobody told TikTok people that they had to do this. They're the ones who picked that. They're the ones who pre-ordered a book unseen and then got mad when the first-time author, who had no experience... Yeah, but there's also, like, a lot of adults on there. First-time experience turned out to be bad. Nobody told TikTok that they had to do that. Nobody told that they had to hype up a book like this. Like... I don't know. It's like yeah. It's like somebody putting out, in filmmaking terms, it's like somebody hyping up a student film from a bunch. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, Useless. As somebody who went through, as somebody who was maybe a little bit trying to, okay, I'll admit, maybe somebody who was trying to kind of figure out why she was successful in the first place. I went through her TikToks, and what she did was mostly pity marketing. It was a lot of pity marketing, which is what everybody on fucking TikTok does. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I do. Never. I do. And pity me. Pity all of us. Yeah, it's mostly... I don't know. Which... Simply. But sexy pity. That would sell the most. But yeah. But the writing is simply... It's just not good. And it's not good... It's not good in ways that are like... I don't know. And the thing is, I'm going to be honest. If I had seen her things live, I'll say this. If I'd seen her things live, I probably would have tried to hype her up. Because pity marketing, unfortunately, works on me. I always feel bad for the person. And I always get mad afterwards. I'm like, why did that work on me? It makes me so irritated. Because I'm like, oh. Yeah. Okay. I won't. But yeah. But looking through it, if you're curious what my note is, if you're curious what the note is, the problem with her writing is it's bad in the, it's bad in the way like unedited fantasy novels are always bad. Someone had rewritten, let's see. It actually, this one's also going to be a bit of a bummer, but this is a classic one. Let me try and find it. It is classic, so bad it's good book about barbarian. Oh, about a barbarian. No. Do you know what I'm thinking of? It's like The Eyes of Aramor. Okay. Game where you read a really bad book and try not to laugh. What is it? Okay, one second. Let me go on TV Tropes. But you didn't say I could do the Pittler, or the Pitiest, or the Pitisher. You're precious. Let me see. Oh, shut up, TV Tropes. Let's see. It's the... God, I'm trying to remember. It's the, so bad it's good. Okay. This one is objectively hilarious, but it has an equally bad. Yes! Ah! That's it. That is it. It is The Eyes of... That is the one I was looking for. The Eyes of Aragorn. Yeah. Okay. Have you... This is, in my opinion, maybe the dumbest fantasy book ever written. And before we get on, it should be noted that this is a 16-year-old, but it got published. So in many ways, this is maybe one of the dumbest cases of publishing I've ever seen, because, yeah. But if I could, this is usually considered the classically bad example of fantasy writing that exists. Okay. And you'll see why very quickly. The weather-beaten trail wound ahead into the dust-racked
climes of the barren land which dominates the large portions of the Norgolian Empire. Age, warm hoofs, printed smothering by the stifling sands of time, shone dully against the dust-splattered crusts of the earth. The tireless sun cast its perching rays of the incandescence from overhead, halfway through its daily revolution. Occupying themselves in the daily accomplishments of their dismal lives, dust sprayed over the 3 heaving mounts in the blinding clouds, while they bore the burden of cargoes of their struggling overseers. Yes. Prepare to embrace your creators in the Stygian haunts of hell, barbarian, grasped the fur soldier. Only after you have kissed the fleeting steed of death, returned Gringar. A sweeping blade of flesh and steel riveted from the massive barbarian's hide, enamored shield as a ripping right arm thrust forth, sending a steel-shod blade to the hilt into the soldier's vital organs. The disemboweled mercenary crumbled from his saddle and sank to the clouded sword, sprinkling He is. By the way, this is very clearly a Conan ripoff, if you're curious. It's sprinkling the parched dust with the crimson droplets of escaping life fluid. Guys. The perch dust with the crimson droplets of escaping life fluid. Guys, he's describing blood. Crimson drop, like, this is classically bad writing. I feel bad for making fun of this, but this is very classically bad writing. Escaping droplets of the crimson droplets of escaping life fluid. Really? Really? Shit. I'm not even listening to the background music. Let's put these guys on. I like these guys. Take a page from anybody. Like, there's so many great lines here. Lynn, you need to understand this. That happens. This is he describes a book like that. That's a line that will come up. That's where that line comes from, is this book. Every sentence is this. Let's see. Halfway. I just want to look at another one. The tireless sun cast its perching rays of incandescence from overhead, halfway through its daily revolution. The sun. He's just describing the sun, but he can't. I've read this book a few. I've read this book or made people read this book a few times. So this used to be. Yeah. Howard is good. Okay, so one of the things you need to understand that this is a Howard ripoff. This is very much a Conan ripoff. Like, he's attempting to do a Conan story. Gringar is meant to be a Conan figure. And I've made people read this book. Okay, so we should. I agree. Howard is amazing. I'm glad I finally talked you into reading him. He is very fun. Yeah. Can you feel the influence that Murdoch that it took from? Oh fuck. Anyway. Okay, but so this is like a short novella. Let's see. If you're curious, this used to be a pretty well-known game at like conventions and stuff. Is like what people would do is they would take turns reading this book, and you had to stop anytime you laughed. So, and it's very hard to get through this because it's very funny. Now, keep in mind that this was a 16-year-old writing. Inexplicably, they got published, which to me, is the real thing. That a publisher read this and goes like, yeah, this should get published. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can find a fun one. All of knowledge measuring time had escaped Gringar. When a person is deprived of sun, moon, and stars, he loses all conception of time as he had previously understood it. It seemed as if years had passed, if time were being measured by terms of misery and mental anguish. Yet he estimated that his stay had only been a few days in length. He slept 3 times and had been fed 5 times since awakening in the crypt. However, when the actions of the body are restricted, its needs are also affected. The need for nourishment and slumber are directly proportional to the functions of the body has performed, meaning that when free and active, Gringar may become hungry every 6 hours and witness the desire for sleep every 15 hours, where in his present condition he may encounter the need for food every 10 hours and want Anyways, we don't have to keep going through this. It's just, I was having fun looking at kind of goofy books. And here's the thing. She's kind of doing the same thing through, she's kind of doing the same thing the Eye of Aragorn is doing, which is, yeah, well, hers is this. Okay, so let me read you the opening chapter a little bit. Someone had rewritten the history of Conviction Woods, the cursed forest I called home. Despite all the text describing Conviction Woods as eternally uninhabitable, there were hundreds of wartime artifacts scattered amongst the forest grounds. The records had been altered to hide the truth of, the Guardian's last war, a truth that allowed the woods to protect those mysteriously meant to survive beyond its boundaries. So, reading this as opposed to Eye of Aragorn, one, Eye of Aragorn is a lot more fun. Is way more fun than this. Well, okay, so here's the thing with fantasy and sci-fi and just kind of genre fiction in general that is not set literally in Earth, literally in the modern day, literally in a time period and a zone that everybody should be reasonably familiar with. You have to do, despite the best efforts of every writer in fantasy and sci-fi, at some point you're going to have to sit down there and just say to somebody, here's what's happening, here are the rules of this place. You can always, they always try and avoid it, but at some point, no, that's what I'm trying, no, never, I agree with you. So there's been a lot of methods people have come up with to do this. A lot of tricks and trades people have come up with to do this. In fact, arguably one of the skills you have to develop as a fantasy and sci-fi writer is this. How to hide blatant exposition in a way that is interesting. I'm currently reading the book Solaris. And Solaris is a high-minded, heavy sci-fi book. And it just kind of blatantly tells you what the deal with Solaris is. And it doesn't really bother to hide that it's just doing exposition, but...
Yes, Solaris is very fun. Hi, Toast. Good to see you. Solaris is very cool. In fact, the story I'm writing is very inspired by it. So, well, never. One, the Solaris actually know. How's it going, Toast? Good to see you. Solaris actually knows how to introduce stuff. Nice, Toast. Nice. No, it's far too much telling. Well, okay, so one, Solaris actually knows how to write an article Solaris just explains it to you the way it would be explained in an article. And that's a skill in and of itself, is to just tell you something in an interesting way. Two, the thing Solaris is explaining is incredibly interesting and you just want to learn about it. And three, it makes a lot of sense that people just wrote an article about what's going on Solaris. Tell me about the 5K. How are you doing? Toast. We're talking about exposition and sci-fi. Yeah. I have... That is awesome. I need to do more running. I haven't run in a very long time and I feel very out of shape. So, tell me, Toast, what weapons are you bringing to this 5K? Obviously some sort of samurai sword, like a katana, right? You never know what comes out. So, okay, so... That's fine. So, okay, if I could. You can actually kind of get away with blatant exposition in sci-fi and fantasy a little bit. And the trick everybody does, simply, Never, Toast, Lynn, the trick everybody does, and once I explain to you one of the most basic tricks everybody does, you'll be like, oh, right, they all do this pretty much, is usually the main character is somebody who doesn't know this info. Really think about almost every sci-fi and fantasy story you read. Have you noticed that the main character is usually from a provincial small town or in some way disconnected from the main society, and characters have to sit there and explain things to them? Okay. Very simple trick. It works. Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay, because think of Luke Skywalker. Well, okay. Okay, think of Luke Skywalker. Think of Frodo, or the actual protagonist of Lord of the Rings, which is Sam. But think of pretty much even... Let me throw this out to you. Conan is, in a lot of ways, a guy from a provincial place that doesn't know a lot. Well, that's good. Yeah, and you can... Toast, how dare you? Conan is... That's not Conan. Conan is smart. The whole bit... Yeah. It's so annoying how I have... Of all the people... Of all the people on this chat, you're always the one I have to approve things with. Okay. No, it's fine. You're always... Yeah, anyways. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so... Another trick is, and this is the one Audra is attempting. This is one Audra is attempting, and it doesn't. It's I don't. It. This is a little bit more of a riskier thing. It can work, but it's not working well for her. You can actually kind of flip the character and make them somebody who is like a historian or somebody who actually knows a lot about the history and has to in some way explain it. Like, make them kind of naturally curious about the history of the world and explain it to other people. So, but this is a little bit rarer of an idea. Martin uses this more frequently. That people, because, okay. Exactly. You actually have to, okay. Martin likes to... Well, Useless, that is your prerogative. You're gonna have to explain that. What is this? What fan fiction are you writing? Let's see. I've never played that game. See, I tend to do a lot of... I don't know if this works, but I think it does, because when I've shown people stuff I've written in this, the way I do it, people usually pick up on it. Instead of, I try for a little bit of a different method. I sometimes just have to sit there and explain things, which is fine. But I try for a little bit of a different method that the characters know, but from the way they experience it in context, you should be able to figure it out. If that makes sense. It's a little bit risky, but I find it's been working for me pretty well. Okay. Do I still have... somewhere. Oh, is this it? Hey, that's actually not a bad bit of writing I did. Okay, Toast. Yes. The thing... Let's see. Let's see. I have too many things. She is. That's a whole story. I'm just trying to find my, because I attempted to write this a while ago, and I'm just trying to see if I can find it. Ugh, I have so many documents.
Sometimes I look through my old things and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't remember all the stuff I write. Well, okay. Okay. Anyways. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Yeah. So, I forgot what I was doing. Yeah. Well, useless. My opinion about that is you are allowed to take idea. Nobody owns the copyright to an idea. Nobody owns the copyright to an idea, and you are allowed to mess with it. You are allowed to take somebody up. You are allowed to use an idea and rework it if you want. The story I always tell is that, yeah. Well, what is the is it for D&D? Is it for D&D? Is that why you're calling it a fanfic? Is because you're using D&D races? D&D doesn't own a lot of the races they use. What are the races' names? Because a lot of times what people think, people think that. Oh, so like a fast race. Okay, Lynn. Oh my god, it was good seeing you. I hope to do more streams. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, that's kind of what I've been trying to say. If we want to go, I always think it's so funny. Have you guys? I don't know if people here like Star Trek, but have you guys noticed that Vulcans are essentially just elves in space? I don't know when I realized that the Vulcans are just elves. Yeah, they're essentially just elves, and what's and the Klingon are just orcs. That's kind of the Who's the other one? Yeah. Let's see. I wanna check something. Yeah. Well, we're gonna. Do you know, useless, how many fucking Star Wars and Star Trek ripoffs there are in sci-fi? How many people just do Star Wars but slightly different? Dyad. What is it? It's the Dryad. Of course I have. Tree people in D&D. Let's see. What are the? Yeah. What it's the Diane. Yeah. Just call them the Diane. There we go. That's what I was looking for. There we go. Continue to say. I mean, they're basically the same. Yeah, but that's basically what the Florians are. They're just tree people. If you just called them that, you'd be fine. Nobody would get mad. Yeah, they're fun. Yeah, just call them tree people or leaf people or just living trees or... But what is it in... It's actually not this in Lord of the Rings. It's like the Entmute. What are the... In the books, they're not... What are the tree people called in Lord of the Rings? Entwood, yeah. Well, the Ents, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're good. Could call them... Yeah, but there's a million names. People would get it. The Leafy Boys. Oh, fuck, man. So much shit. Why can't I get rid of this? What is this? Why is this still here? Go away. Go away. There we go. Make them a ripoff of the Warhammer orcs, who are just like a fungus. Ah, so many things. So many things. I actually have a short story due next week, and I have been procrastinating on it by talking to you people. Did I tell you guys that I'm probably getting published? Well, never. I'm in a writing class, and I'm procrastinating on finishing the short story that's due. Did I tell you guys that? Did I share that bit of news? Yeah. A little short story of mine is getting published at some point, hopefully. I haven't heard the exact date yet, but they have said, Sean, you are getting published. We will be publishing you. Anyways, so this is the short story I'm thinking of turning in. You know, after I said all that shit about... Thank you. I will. Oh, you guys don't think I will be doing a massive stream the day it comes out to try and get those numbers way up? Yeah, trust me. Mysteriously, you'll see me doing like a 24-hour stream. It won't matter. It'll be in the middle of the week. Oh, it'll be free. It's going to be on. It's a free website. So. But yeah, so this is the short story I've been working on. I say single short story I've been working on. I am very indecisive, and I've been working on actually a few short stories, and novellas, and I need to make a decision. This is the one that's the most done, so this is the one I should be focusing on. Oh my god. Never. Automod hates your guts. Maybe. Automod hates your guts so much. I don't have like necessarily the greatest idea at the moment for this. Well, yeah, I've explained what's going on, at least with this. It's about space, which is the best setting for anything. It's about space and automation and people in space and the struggles of that, pretty much. And a little bit of a riff on Star Trek and Solaris and people's relationship to technology and in some way religion and stuff. Anyways. Okay. Yeah, I hope it's not. Yeah, it's like. Yeah. I'm basically. I'm like 2/3 of the way done. And it's told in alternating chapters. So, one of the issues that we've run into, and I was explaining earlier, was that basically it's alternating chapters, but, I kind of screwed up a little bit on the timeline, and one character is ahead of another character in the timeline, and has already, and it's a little bit confusing. I think it would be too confusing for people, really, because now one storyline is in flashback and one storyline isn't. So what I have to do is maybe add some filler, which I'm not 100% a fan of. Or cut some stuff down, which I'm also not 100% a fan of. So, I think the filler is the least bad option. Or, because this is an Episcopalian novel, I theoretically could add in other documents. Yeah. I agree. So what's happening is we have one character explaining their life, another character explaining their life, and theoretically they're supposed to meet in the middle, and the story is about both of the characters experiencing it. But what has happened is instead it's one character has officially met the character, and one character is still here. And theoretically the story now should go like this. But her story needs to still go like this. It's a little bit. It's a problem. It's a problem because I didn't think super hard about this structure until later. So remember when I was talking about exposition and the difficulties of doing it in sci-fi? Well, guess who ran into an issue? I initially wrote it was just going to be one main character. Yeah. It was just okay. So the story is it's the starship captain and he meets an escaped princess, but it's not exactly what they actually are is a little bit different than that. But basically, yeah, I like it. Anyways, so what happens is they meet in the middle of the story. And then it was going to be about them together and, maybe a romance a little bit and stuff. But, okay. But, no. So initially it was just going to be me meeting her. But then I tried to explain her backstory. And that fucking killed the whole tempo of the story. Like, it just fucking killed it.
it made it not work. And so I got to thinking. Maybe it would be better if we explained her backstory in like prose instead of just exposition. Like we actually went through her backstory. So I kind of came up with this structure of like we're seeing chapters from both of their memoirs that they've written years later, like in universe documents, and it's comparing and contrasting them. And that works, but now we've gotten a thing where the captain is stuck. Anyway, so that's kind of where I am right now. And I'm a little bit stuck on that. So mostly I've just been like... yeah. So, ironically... So, we have a few options. We could spend a little bit... We could spend a little bit more time in the captain's backstory. Which would probably be okay. Or, because this is an epistolary novel, I cannot say the word correctly, which is a novel made up of documents in universe. Theoretically, we could spend a little time like on something else. Like an advertisement, Okay, so an epistolary novel that's not what that is. So Dracula is a very famous example of this, and that is made up of different in-universe documents that together tell a story. Dracula is famously a lot like this because it's like... Yeah, so you can theoretically use any sort of document. Yeah, I know, but I was explaining it to other people. Never. You're not the only one here, Never. So, like, one idea I had was theoretically I could put in an ad or an in-universe story or a bit of history, a bit of... So, like, theoretically I could do that, but that would be filler, but then maybe not. So, that's just a little bit where I'm thinking right. That's just where my thoughts are right now. Anyways, I mean, I'll figure it out by the time. I always do, but I'm just thinking. How many words is this? 3,000, not bad. Oh, when did I leave you off? Because I spent the whole time explaining everything. I spent the whole time explaining a ton of shit. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so... I'm going to button that in the old day. Fired the torpedo. Fired. I just got rid of a very odd
winter-like passage. See, one of the problems is, if I could give just writing advice to people, and this, I do this too, so it's, it's not me just, one of the problems I think with a lot of people write is we write these kind of very, we either do too like high-minded, like super academic writing, or too lowbrow, like casual writing, and there's never in between where it's actually comfortable to read fiction. A lot of people either do, like, will try and sound too smart or too casual, and never in the place where like literature actually works well. Anyways, I have a problem with that. I always try and make sure to get rid of it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong if that stuff is like in your first. Yeah, we all try. To quote, to misquote a famous Muppet, try, there is no do. Oh shit, how is it? I've actually never listened to them before. I know oh man, how the heck did wow, I didn't realize I had gotten this many subscribers I assume from this. Thank you. Do you guys do you guys know the whole history behind that, JT? No, I'm pretty sure I quoted it correctly. Listen, I've only experienced. I know I've never actually read any of her stuff. Didn't she? Wasn't the whole deal she faked it though? Is that? Am I remembering the right person? Is that she initially pretended to be a teenage boy? Am I remembering this right? Is this the person I'm thinking of? Oh no. Nope, this is not the person I'm thinking of. Kristen Stewart movie about an author. J.T. Leroy. That's who I was thinking of. Yeah, no, I was thinking of J.T. Leroy. Okay, so the story with J.T. Leroy is that they presented themselves as a teenage boy and kind of teenage trailer park boy, and it was their real autobiographical experiences. They even started to appear somebody started to appear as J.T. Leroy, and then it turns out it had been all made up. It had all been made up by a woman by the name of Laura Albert, I guess. And it was this huge controversy. twice. Really? Jesus. Oh my god, I think I know who I think I read about this. Also there was the guy who faked himself. There was another guy. This has happened a few times. There, there was another. Yeah, there was another author. Yeah, shit, man. There was another author. Yeah. There was another author who claimed to be like, I believe, like a Chinese, I think, or Tibetan. No, he was. I think it was a Tibetan, like mystic, and people were really buying it until he wrote a book where he died. And he says like, well, no, it's fine. No, I'm still alive. And then it's like, the story continues on, where he goes to like Mars and stuff and like sleeps with a bunch of Martian women. And like to this day, he still claims it's a real story. Okay, so I think I know who you're talking about. That case is still up in the air. She claims. Yeah. I read this article years ago, so I might for author who claimed to be a mystic and wrote books about it and then died in the book but was still alive. Let's see. No. Oh, is this it? No, that's not it. It's a Cracked article. I mean, I read this from a Cracked article, so who knows how realistic it is. Let's see. Cracked articles about authors who faked stuff. Oh, okay, here it is. Let's see. Continue without supporting. God. I haven't been to Cracked in years. Jesus, what happened to it? Okay. Well, there's a lot of really good ones here, but let's see. Oh no. Oh, shut up. Oh, I forgot about this one was such bullshit. People have met Thomas Pinchant before. Fuck off. I forgot how stupid this. Yeah. Yeah. No, this isn't the one. I've met a few people in life. I've met a few people in life who have met Thomas Pinchant in some form. So I've met at least one person who's met Thomas Pinchant. Fuck off. Sorry, I forgot. Crack bugs me to no end. 1 second. Shut up. Not you. Sorry, I forgot how irritating I found it. No worries. No worries. Simply. Let's see. I was trying to see if I could find this. Oh, The Education of Little Tree. Yeah. No, this wasn't it. There's another famous case of that. Who was I thinking of? Maybe this is the one. Nope. Okay. Okay. Here's a question. Here's a question. Let's see. God, I forgot how irritating Cracked was. Sorry. Sorry, I'm irritated now because I forgot how stupid some of their things were. Okay. I forgot how, I forgot how stupid, there's a lot of stupid Cracked articles. Anyways, there's a reason I stopped reading it. But what was I saying? Okay, did you guys ever own sea monkeys when you were a kid? Never? Simply? Toast? Did you ever have sea monkeys when you were a kid? I did. We're gonna... Well, you're better than me because you're gonna find out something very... I'm gonna really bum you out with the inventor of sea monkeys. Okay. This is Harold von Braunett. He invented sea monkeys and X-ray specs. And let's see. Okay, all that's fun, all that's cool. He was also a magician. Okay, all that's cool until we get to the end of his paragraph on Wikipedia. Von Braunett also gained notoriety for his racial and political views. Despite his Jewish upbringing, he was closely associated with white supremacist groups, including the Ku Klux Klan and the Aryan Nations Organization. I loved my sea monkeys as a kid. And he wasn't... The Washington Post stated in a report that despite his Jewish ethnicity, he had close associations with white supremacist groups, including buying firearms for the Ku Klux Klan faction and regularly attending Aryan Nation annual conferences. Oof. So, yeah. So, if you're ever curious about sea monkeys, it's the whole thing. Did I ever very basic history is that the sea monkeys, it's a whole thing. Well, if you're basically curious about the history of the KKK, I don't know. KKK started out essentially as sort of a fraternity. And it was just a couple of guys who would get drunk and do weird little pranks for the first couple of months. And then the pranks got very focused on a certain group of people, and then the pranks started to escalate. But yeah, Social Club. Famously, did you ever hear of the whole story of Superman? Yeah, because it's all college dude bullshit. They weren't in college technically. Did you ever hear what kind of killed the second incarnation of the KKK, or like made it kind of a joke? Was so there was this guy by the name of Stetson Kennedy. He was a civil rights activist, a white guy. And he went undercover at the KKK, and he reported it initially to like papers and stuff, and it didn't really like do anything. Partly because like some of the editors were probably pretty racist in and of themselves. So instead, he had a weird idea, and he started telling the producers of the Superman radio show all the stuff that was going on in the KKK meetings. And they based a whole arc of episodes around it. And they say in many ways that and the Superman radio show was the most listened to thing by the kids right at then. And they said it caused attendance to like totally drop because kids were suddenly playing Superman versus the KKK, and it was so embarrassing for the KKK members. Now, I don't know if that's exactly proven history. I read that in Freakonomics years ago, but I always like that story. Superman versus the Clan of the Fiery Cross. They have officially, as of late, adapted it into an actual comic. Yeah, recently they've adapted it into Superman Smashes the Klan, which is fun. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little tired at the moment. Yeah, I'm getting tired too. What time is it? Oh well, you don't see it. It was really good seeing everybody. Let's see. Emmy's on. Okay. I'm gonna raid Emika. Say hey. Oh, come on. Ugh. It was nice talking to people again. Kind of missed it. I've been having a lot of anxiety lately, so it's about like my future and all this stuff. So
not to drop something heavy on people right at the end, but it was nice talking to everybody. It just made me less anxious. It made me a little less anxious. Okay. Me neither. No, I'll be fine, but it's nice to not. I'm not as anxious as I used to. It made me a little less anxious today, so I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Start watching.